Welcome back to the shop. I know my content has been a little bit sparse lately, and there's very good reason for that. It's not like we haven't been busy. On the contrary, we've taken on a couple of large projects on the home. So here's footage of one of them to show you what I've been up to. I hope you enjoy it. There's a little bit of background noise, but when you're working outside, there's not much you can do about it. Hope you hit that like button, and I hope you hit the subscribe button down here. Also the bell notification so you get notified of when I release a new video. And if you share it on your social media, it helps out the channel and I really appreciate it. Thanks for dropping by and hope you have an awesome day. Time for more skirting. I just finished drilling the holes in all this concrete board. And how I did it is I made a jig for the top edge. And I made a jig for the sides and just popped it on there and drilled it through and had the proper spacing. And there was 19 holes in every panel, and there's 24 panels, which is 254 holes. I'm slowly pulling off the old skirting, and I put this on 17 years ago, and it's exterior grade plywood, but at this point I believe the technical term is it's hoopa-jooped. It's the prep work that's the killer. I want my skirting 4 inches down into the soil, and then I want to space at least a couple inches underneath it. So we have to dig a trench. I got an old frame I built years ago with some 1/2-inch hardware cloth in it. Break up the chunks of clay. Separate the gravel out of it. The gravel I want to keep. And the gravel goes back under the home. The dirt goes into low areas where we're doing a bit of landscaping. And I usually wait till I have more dirt than that, but this is this example of the work I'm putting in on a hot summer day. Yeah, sometimes in the race against the weather wins. It's moving in quick. Well, sorry about the wind noise. I'll try to shield the mic. But I think we're going to pack it in for the day. I've laid out the vent for this panel, and it's 14 by 28 centered on the panel. So the rule of thumb is 1 square foot of free air space for every 150 square feet of floor space. Now, free air space is the important word. That means a wide open opening. I'm putting screen on the vents. That'll cut it about 40%. So this being 14 by 28, I'm considering that 1 square foot of free air space. I'll have 5 on each side, so that's 10. So I'll have 10 square feet, and I got a 1,000 square foot home. So I'm maybe a little over vented, but there will be a frame around the screen too. So I'm doing it pretty close. The other rule of thumb is you should have a vent within 3 feet of the end of the home. I've tried a couple of different methods of cutting this stuff. I got a blade that was purposely meant for cement backer board, and it was an Irwin and it burnt out in seconds. And I tried my angle grinder with a cutoff disc and that wore out in no time. And so I'm back to just a regular wood cutting circular saw blade. And make sure you wear one of these things, a dust mask. And the wind at your back helps too. And to finish up the corner, I just use a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade. So once we got the trench dug, we line it with a landscape fabric, and then we put the board in, and then we fill it with, not quite fill it with pea gravel, and then the landscape fabric will fold over it, and whatever decorative earth or stone or dirt you want will go on top of that and prevent it from mixing. And the pea gravel is good because if something tries to burrow into it, it collapses around the hole. So nothing can burrow into pea gravel. So once that's covered over, you won't even know it's there. But the critters won't be able to get under it, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to get through the concrete board. So if I come over here to what I did last year, you can see what the panels look like. I just made some latches for it, and it comes out so I have access, and it's also so I can block it off during the winter time. And you can see what I've done here is my concrete board is a 1/2 inch thick. My panel, my vent panel is 3/4 of an inch thick. So I put a small rabbet in a piece of wood, 1/4 of an inch thick, and I got space for a 3/4 inch board in there now. And it seals all the way around. Mitered at the corners. And then for the concrete panel itself that originally came out of there, I just store it under there. And I've put a 1/4 inch strip of pressure treated wood on there. So when it goes in, it sits against the back of this rabbet. So, well ventilated, conceal it in the summer, and I've got plenty of access to go underneath in case something goes wrong, and very easy to replace. And it looks pretty good too. There's the front garden I did last year. We had a video on that. And it looks like I've got a concrete foundation, which don't look too bad for a mobile home. Of course, you can parge it or side it or do anything else you want with it too. And that's how I am doing my skirting. How somebody else does their skirting, that's up to them, but I want this to be the last time I do it, and I don't want critters getting under the house. So we got a lot more to do. A lot more to do. We've got the whole other side of the house to do, and that's 75 feet. And we got our shady spot here. Moving the shade as we go. So we've got here at the front door, and we got to come all the way down to, here's the one that I videotaped cutting out the access hole. So those two are almost ready to go in. So 5 feet at a time, we're getting at it. I've got my vent frames all cut and fitted, and I got my little toggle bolts in there. And that's just made out of a, what do they call it, a mending plate, and they fit in there nice and snug. And it's made with some half lap joints. And they're all the same size. So I think what I need to do now is get some screen put on them. Well, we're at the workbench, and I've got myself some aluminium screening, and that's more fun to say than aluminum. And I suppose you could go with the fiberglass screening. I just prefer this because it's a little bit more durable. And seeing as it's for keeping critters out too, you don't want it tearing as easy. I've got it marked out here at about 26 inches. And I'm just going to lop off that much. I'm just using the line of the screen as a guide. So, because it's not stretched square, my cut will look crooked. And about a 4-foot section, so I'm going to cut that into 1-foot pieces. Using the same method. Just follow the strand. Kind of get that centered on there. And just get it tacked down with some staples. And I'm just going by the lines again. The strands. I just want it tacked. Nothing major. Over top of that, which will actually be behind, will be 1/4-inch hardware cloth. Well, this will keep the bugs out. This will keep other critters out. Mice and cats and opossums, and raccoons, or if you listen to the Trailer Park Boys, rakins. So we'll get that put on there. And this one will be well stapled every few inches. And there we have one critter-proof, bug-proof vent. And our screen. There we go. One critter-proof vent in the skirting. The north-ish side is pretty much complete. All the skirting's in, all the venting is in, all filled in and done. Now all we have to do is the southern side, which is going to be the warmer job to do, and we're under a humidity warning, heat and humidity, so it's not going to get done for a little while. We're going to wait for this Tropical Storm Barry to pass with its dumping of rain, and hopefully it cools off, and then we're going to get to this side. Oh, there's one that I had taken off for access. The old ones made out of the wood. Get that back in there. So hopefully this side is actually easier physically because there's less obstacles. And still got some plants to take out. And the tiger lilies are in bloom. Now, the air conditioner's on. Oh, there's another one I had out for access. And just like that, we've got it all cleared out and a trench dug. Actually, it wasn't just like that. It took a couple of weeks to do. I can still do a day's work, it just takes me all week to do it. So, we're getting ready to put things back together now. Of course, things go slow because of wonky knee. But we're slowly getting there. And just like that, it's all done. Oh my goodness, I'm sore. I still have to put the frames in the door yet for the vents. Got the gas pipe done. And cleaned up a couple of miles of wire for the phone and for the cable down there. Right here. Neighbors are having a good time working on their house. But yeah, a nice clean look. All in concrete board. So an update, I got the bottom piece of siding on. And that's what it's going to look like in the end. Haven't got there yet. Still got to put the more stone in and more logs. And the reason I'm putting the landscape ties in is because I don't like eaves troughs because they ice up and plug in this part of the country. So yesterday I spent the day ripping 1x6 pressure treated, putting the little dado in them, and that will be the frames for behind the openings, and these will be the door frames with half lap joints. So today we're going to try to get all the frames put in. So to do my doors, bought this years ago. I never had a chance to use it much until this. It is, I guess, a poor man's sled. And we've got some nice piles of batched out parts ready to get glued together. And like every other woodworker in the world, I don't have enough clamps. put these right in place. That's going to make sure that any variation is made up for. And we'll take it out to dry. And there's 5 screens, vents, access panels, all ready to be installed. Not bad for a day's work, including a 3-hour break to watch races. But we'll get them put in tomorrow. We'll get the latches built up and get them installed tomorrow. That's it for today. Time to make latches. I've got a little mark there. Gives me a 1-inch piece. One 1/16 bit. Naturally, a little something for a bit of a finish on there. Not going to do much, but it'll do something. Got these 3-inch mending plates. A little bit of wax on the threads. Little brass screw, and that is my latch. Well, a little background music from the neighbors doing some landscaping. I got my spots marked out here. I'll drill through the concrete. install the latches. It might be worth noting that all the screws I'm using throughout this whole project are ceramic coated deck screws. They're ACQ rated, which is the preservative in the wood, and the ceramic coating should help in case there's anything with the lime from the concrete, so it should protect it. One in there. And one in there. This is the right one. That pops in there. Latch, latch, critter proof, and bug proof. So these are all the pieces that I cut out of the access panels, and they have to go in the wintertime. Unfortunately, the wood is thicker than the concrete, and that's how I've built my vent screens. So what I've done is I've milled up a whole bunch of thin strips and some PL Premium. Brand new tube. There it is. And a nice thin strip of PL Premium. This is construction adhesive. There. There. And that's just furring it out to the right thickness. And that should do it. And to clamp it, I'll just keep going. So the skirting vents are in. And the next job will be changing windows. And that's the reason why. There's been a lack of content lately. I've been kind of busy working on the house.